What if I told you that the secret to unlocking your creativity isn't about finding inspiration or waiting for that perfect moment, but instead lies in something as unassuming as pragmatism? Yes, pragmatism, the philosophy often mistaken for being too rigid or boring, might actually be the game changer your creative process needs. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself paralyzed by overthinking, chasing perfection, or doubting whether your ideas are good enough? We've all been there, staring at a blank page or a stalled project, wishing for some magical spark. But what if the real magic isn't about dreaming bigger but acting smarter? In this video, we're diving into the surprisingly powerful ways pragmatism can supercharge your creativity, helping you not just think outside the box, but reshape the box altogether. Now you might be thinking, pragmatism and creativity, aren't they polar opposites? Trust me, they're not. And by the end of this video, you'll see why they're a match made in genius heaven. We're talking real, actionable strategies here. No fluff, no cliches. If you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're ready to break free from the myths holding your creativity hostage, then stick around. This is where your perspective shifts, your creativity thrives, and your ideas finally take flight. Ready to challenge everything you thought you knew? Let's get started. Number 1. Fail forward. Philosophy. You know what's funny? We've all been taught to fear failure. From the time we're kids, we hear things like, "Don't mess up," or "You only get one shot." It's no wonder so many of us freeze when we think we might fail. But here's a bold truth for you. Failure is actually the secret weapon to creativity. Yes, you heard that right. Failing, big, messy, awkward failure, might just be the best thing to ever happen to you. Stay with me on this. Think about it. When's the last time you didn't try something because you were too scared it might not work? Maybe it was a bold idea at work, a risky move in your side hustle, or even a quirky project you wanted to share online. We've all been there, stuck in that mental tug-of-war between wanting to create something amazing and being paralyzed by the fear of, what if people hate it? But here's the thing. If you're not failing, you're not really pushing your boundaries. And if you're not pushing your boundaries, are you even growing? Here's the deal with the fail-forward philosophy. It's not just about being okay with failure. It's about using it. Every time you fail, you learn something. What worked, what didn't, what you can tweak. Failure isn't the end of the road. It's the sign that you're on the road. The twist? You have to actively seek those moments of failure. Now, I know that might sound a little uncomfortable. Like, why would anyone go looking for failure? But hear me out. When you fail intentionally, you're in control of the outcome. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you. Let me tell you a quick story. A few months ago, I decided to pitch a wild creative idea at work. It was one of those, this could be genius or a total train wreck kind of moments. I spent hours prepping, rehearsing, making sure I had all my bases covered. And guess what? The pitch bombed. Not in a small meh way either, like full-on crickets in the room. I felt my face burning and I wanted to crawl under the table. But then something surprising happened. One of my colleagues came up to me afterward and said, "That idea might not have worked, but there's something in it. Let's tweak it." That tweak turned into one of the most successful projects we've ever done. If I hadn't failed first, we'd have never found that golden idea. See, this isn't just about creativity, it's about owning your journey. When you embrace failure as a tool, you stop seeing it as a threat and start seeing it as an ally. It's about reclaiming your right to experiment, to mess up, to learn, and to grow. Because the truth is, nobody ever achieved greatness by playing it safe. So here's my challenge to you. Stop waiting for perfect. Launch that messy idea. Share that unfinished work. Dare to be a little reckless with your creativity, because every failure is a step forward, and every step forward gets you closer to something incredible. This is your journey, your growth, and your power. Own it. Number 2, passion prioritization. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. Follow your passion, and everything else will fall into place. Sounds dreamy, right? But let's be real. How many of us actually feel like we can do everything we're passionate about? Here's the bold truth. Trying to chase every passion is the fastest way to burn out. You can't give your energy to 10 different things and expect any of them to thrive. That's why I'm here to share a slightly unconventional idea. Don't follow all your passions. Follow the right ones. Now, I get it. That might sound a little harsh, maybe even counterintuitive. You're probably thinking, wait, isn't the whole point of being creative to explore everything that excites me? And yes, that's part of it. But think about how overwhelming it can get when you're constantly juggling projects, ideas, and interests, only to end up feeling like none of them are going anywhere. You know the feeling. It's that moment when you stare at your to-do list and think, I don't even know where to start. We've all been there. Here's where passion prioritization comes in. Instead of spreading yourself thin, focus on the passions that align with your goals, values, and the kind of life you want to create. Why? Because when you give your energy to the right things, they grow exponentially. It's not about giving up on the rest forever. It's about choosing what to nurture right now. Think of it like tending a garden. If you water every single plant equally, some of them will still wilt. But if you concentrate on the ones that truly matter, they'll flourish, and you'll have the energy to circle back to the others later. Let me tell you a story. A friend of mine was passionate about photography, writing, cooking, and teaching. All amazing things, right? But when she tried to pursue them all at once, she ended up frustrated, broke, and doubting her abilities. One day, she decided to focus solely on photography because it was the one passion that aligned with her financial goals and gave her the most joy. Within a year, her work was featured in major publications. She built a sustainable income and, get this, she had enough time to write a blog about her journey. By prioritizing one passion, she ended up reigniting the others. This isn't about giving up. It's about gaining clarity. It's about saying, I choose this right now because it's what serves me best. And you know what? That choice is powerful. It means you're not letting your passions run your life. You're running the show. It's about reclaiming your time, your focus, and your purpose. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed by all the possibilities, take a step back. Ask yourself, which passion truly deserves my attention right now? Which one aligns with the life I want to create? Then go all in on that. Trust me, the rest can wait. This is your space, your peace, and your path to thriving, not just surviving. Number 3, the art of borrowed brilliance. Have you ever had that moment where you're staring at a blank screen, a blank page, or just a blank space in your mind thinking, why can't I come up with something original? Let me hit you with a wild idea. Maybe you don't need to. Yes, I said it. Maybe originality is overrated. Instead of burning yourself out chasing something completely new, why not borrow brilliance? I'm talking about taking existing ideas, flipping them, twisting them, and making them your own. Before you roll your eyes, hear me out. Some of the most iconic creations in history started as a remix of someone else's work. Think about it. We've all been there, scrolling through social media or watching someone else's work, feeling equal parts inspired and frustrated. Why didn't I think of that? You ask yourself. But what if I told you that you don't have to think of everything from scratch? Creativity isn't about creating something from thin air. It's about connecting the dots in a way only you can. And trust me, Borrowing brilliance isn't cheating, it's smart. Here's the beauty of it. You're not copying, you're curating. You're taking the bits that resonate with you and adding your unique perspective. Why does this work so well? Because it saves you from the paralysis of trying to be completely original, and it lets you focus on what really matters: execution. Let's face it, no one's reinventing the wheel anymore. Even Shakespeare borrowed plots. If it's good enough for him, it's good enough for us, right? I'll give you a real-life example. A few years ago, I was working on a project that required designing a campaign for a client. I had nothing, zilch. Then, while flipping through an old magazine, I spotted an ad layout that caught my eye. It was sleek, simple, and bold. I thought, what if I used this structure but infused it with the client's vibe? The result? A campaign that not only wowed the client, but also won an award. That magazine layout didn't inspire me to copy. It inspired me to reimagine. Borrowed brilliance isn't just a strategy, it's a mindset. It's about giving yourself permission to draw from what's already out there and trust that your voice will make it different. This isn't about playing it safe, it's about playing it smart. And the best part, it takes the pressure off. No more staring at blank screens or doubting your worth because you're not the next Picasso or Hemingway. Instead, you can focus on what you do bring to the table: your perspective, your voice, and your ability to remix the familiar into something unforgettable. So, next time you're feeling stuck, stop trying to create from nothing. Look around you, borrow ideas, flip them, make them your own. Because at the end of the day, creativity isn't about inventing, it's about reinventing. And in that reinvention, you'll find something uniquely yours. Your brilliance, borrowed or not, is still brilliance. Own it. Number 4, creative capitalism. Let's start with a question that might make you uncomfortable. What if I told you that making money and making a difference don't have to be opposites? That's right. Capitalism and creativity can coexist, and not just coexist, but thrive together. You don't have to sell out your values to succeed, and you don't have to live paycheck to paycheck to stay true to your passions. This isn't about picking a side, it's about rewriting the rules. Creative capitalism is where your art meets your ambition, and trust me, it's not as complicated as it sounds. Now you might be thinking, isn't capitalism the enemy of creativity? Doesn't it force you to choose profit over purpose? We've all felt that tug of war. You pour your heart into a project, but the bills don't stop coming. Or you compromise on a job just to get by and feel like you're leaving a piece of yourself behind. Sound familiar? That's the trap so many of us fall into, thinking we have to sacrifice one for the other. But here's the thing, you can monetize your creativity without losing your integrity. Creative capitalism flips the script. It's about using your passion to solve problems, meet needs, and yes, make money, without abandoning the soul of what you do. Why does it work? Because the market is hungry for authenticity. People are drawn to things that feel real, that carry a story, that spark emotion. And guess what? That's what you, as a creative, bring to the table. It's not just about selling a product or service, it's about offering something that people connect with on a deeper level. Here's an example from my own life. A friend of mine, a graphic designer, felt trapped in corporate gigs that drained her creativity. She loved designing, but the projects felt soulless. One day, she decided to take a leap and start creating custom illustrations inspired by people's personal stories, weddings, graduations, even quirky family moments. She posted a few samples online, and the response was overwhelming. She didn't just build a business, she built a community of people who wanted something meaningful. By combining her talent with a marketable concept, she created a livelihood that felt fulfilling and authentic. This isn't about exploiting your creativity, it's about valuing it. It's about understanding that your art, your ideas, your talent, they're worth something. And when you approach it from a place of purpose, the financial side doesn't feel dirty or shallow. Instead, it feels like a way to amplify your impact. Think of it this way: the more resources you have, the more you can create, the more people you can reach, and the more change you can inspire. So, if you've been holding back, feeling like you have to choose between doing what you love and making a living, let this be your wake-up call. You don't have to choose, you just have to get intentional. Ask yourself, what can I offer that's both meaningful and marketable? How can I use my creativity to solve a problem, fill a gap, or create joy? And then do it. Because this is your art, your livelihood, and your legacy. Creative capitalism isn't about selling out, it's about leveling up. Your ideas deserve to thrive, and so do you. Number 5, 90% done. Rule: let's start with a question that might make you squirm a little. What if perfection isn't the goal? What if chasing perfect is the very thing that's holding you back? I know, it sounds counterintuitive, especially when we've been taught to give our 100%, to go all in, to make everything flawless. But what if I told you that 90% is the sweet spot? That's right, 90%. Not perfect, not polished to an impossible shine, just good enough to ship, share, and succeed. And before you roll your eyes, hear me out. You know the type of situation I'm talking about. You've got a project, an idea, or a goal, and you're pumped. You dive in with energy, creativity, and focus. But then, somewhere along the way, the doubt creeps in. Is this good enough? You ask yourself. So you tweak, revise, delete, and start over, and then tweak some more. Before you know it, the thing that had you excited is now a source of stress. Sound familiar? We've all been there, stuck in the perfectionism trap, where nothing feels good enough to see the light of day. Here's the kicker. Most things in life don't need to be perfect. They just need to be done. That's the 90% rule. It's about getting your work to a place where it's effective, impactful, and ready to go, even if there are tiny imperfections. Why 90%? Because the last 10%, that endless polishing and second-guessing, is where the law of diminishing returns kicks in. You spend double the time for maybe a fraction more improvement, and honestly, most people won't even notice the difference. I'll share a story to drive this home. A friend of mine is a freelance writer, and she used to obsess over every article. Hours would stretch into days as she rewrote sentences, changed word choices, and fretted over the tone. One day, she had a tight deadline and no choice but to submit her article at 90%. She was terrified, convinced her client would hate it. Instead, the client loved it. They didn't notice the small flaws she was so worried about. That experience was a game changer for her. She realized she could produce high-quality work faster and with less stress by letting go of the need for perfection. Now, I'm not saying you should cut corners or deliver sloppy work. The 90% rule is about balance. It's about recognizing when you've done enough to meet your goal and letting go of the rest. It's freeing, honestly. You reclaim time, energy, and focus that would have been wasted on overthinking. And let's be real, the extra 10% is often more about easing your insecurities than improving the outcome. So, what does this mean for you? It means giving yourself permission to stop when the job is done, not when it's perfect. It means embracing progress over perfection and trusting that your 90% is more than enough. This is about reclaiming your sanity, your momentum, and your creative joy. Because at the end of the day, the world doesn't need your perfection. It needs your ideas, your contributions, and your action. Here's your takeaway. Done is better than perfect. Progress beats paralysis. Your 90% can move mountains, while perfectionism keeps you stuck. So go ahead, finish the thing, share the idea, take the leap. Your space, your peace, and your momentum are worth it. And who knows, that 90% might just be exactly what someone else needs. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I truly hope it gave you a fresh perspective and some practical tools to unlock your creativity through the lens of pragmatism. If you found this video valuable, please give it a thumbs up. It helps more than you know. And if you're as passionate about exploring creativity and actionable insights as I am, consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. Do you know someone who's feeling stuck or could benefit from a creative boost? Share this video with them. It might be exactly what they need to hear today. And don't forget to leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your own experiences with balancing pragmatism and creativity, or even your biggest takeaways from this video. Remember, creativity isn't just about thinking outside the box. It's about building a box that works for you. Keep exploring, keep experimenting, and most importantly, keep creating. Until next time, stay inspired, stay pragmatic, and take bold steps toward turning your ideas into reality. See you in the next video.